And knowledge is power, just like sharing
is caring. It's so true. But knowledge is power.
It is. It's one of those things that, at the root of all things we do, we have to have a certain amount of knowledge to do it, right? And even knowledge of self. Like knowledge is a big one. There's a lot of aspects that go into knowledge. But before we even get started in this knowledge side of things, we're going to give you a little knowledge on
who we are.
Well, we have to do this other stuff first.
Okay.
Any of you guys who have watched us for a while, you have this knowledge already, but we're going to share it with you one more time, because if you do hear something about knowledge that just knocks your socks off, or you think, I haven't thought of it that way before, we want you to throw in that hashtag, "You leaving me."
Oh, sorry. Holy jumping tuna fish.
Where is your knowledge today?
Well, the knowledge is here, but the brain is elsewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's looking here.
I know.
Bring it back, Carrie.
Well, it's nice out. There's birds. There's
gorgeous.
Yucky gophers. There's all kinds of things happening out there. So again, ADHD, squirrel. I got to move around, man.
Yeah, she does. We'll allow it, because my knowledge of her recognizes this as well. So holy jumping tuna fish, if something really floats your boat, or feel free to put in the little tuna fishies as well, because we enjoy those very much. Of course, share this out, because sharing is caring, as Carrie mentioned already. So we want you to share this out to the world. Sometimes we say something that might affect someone, or sometimes somebody needs to hear about their knowledge, bringing them something else that day. Who knows? But share this out so that other people can watch as well. And then something else we want you guys to remember is, again, that lovely hashtag is "We Are Life Changers." And that is us, that is you, that is our horses, that is our puppies, our kitties. Heck, even the gophers out there are life changers in one way or another.
Yes, they are.
Sometimes not so for good.
No.
For horse people.
But they are cute.
They are cute, yeah.
They're just so bad.
I just wish they would relocate. That's all.
Exactly.
But they're cute.
Yeah.
So we are life changers. That means everybody has the opportunity every single day to affect somebody's life in a positive way, help people move forward, whatever it may be. But we all are life changers. So that includes every single one of you that are watching as well, which is 2 right now. So
is there 2?
I think so.
How can you tell?
Right there.
Oh, show us, tell us who you are.
Yes. So we like to know who you are, where you're from, and then we can say hello to you as well. And then, of course, for those of you who catch this later on replay, throw in that replay too, so we can come in and say hello to you. All right. Hello.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello. Okay.
Yeah. How's that for your ears? Good morning, everybody. So to let you guys know who we are as well, my name is Carolyn Charles. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing, as well as an instructor and facilitator for the Equine Connection, the Academy of Equine Assisted Learning, Inc. I think that's actually helping my lung capacity to say that sentence every week.
Good practicing, especially since you get pneumonia so often.
Yeah, so often. Twice.
That's so often, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Any hoodle. Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie, the founder of the Equine Connection and master instructor, helping people globally around the world do what it is that we do, which is the most incredible, purposeful, real, solid, humbling, and privilege of a job that exists on earth. Why? We get to smell and be with horses every day that we're doing this. Plus, get to make a living doing it. And the greatest thing that I love with our certification is it is all the foundation of the horse. It's the welfare of the horse that comes first. We do not use horses in any of our programs, because to us, it's against the law and against life to use another living being. So we literally partner with them, because the horse does all of the teaching. We are there as trained facilitators to be able to do our step-ins, to help that horse, number one, to feel safe, because if our horse, number one thing he needs to feel is safe, then all of our clients are going to be safe. So we literally partner with the horse throughout all of our objectively driven programs to be able to have humans to be empowered, to move forward in their own lives, but not because we say anything. It truly is because of the horse. I have no idea why.
You got marbles in your mouth.
I really do feel like there's a whole bunch of things going in there.
Objectively.
I don't usually speak like this, but maybe I do. I don't know.
Maybe we're just so used to it. No, because then I wouldn't have noticed it.
No,
so
that's true.
You must not speak like that all the time.
No.
Lenore, good morning to you.
Good morning.
This ain't a replay, honey. You're on live today. I love every single live Lenore comes back in at the end to say, I'm catching this on replay. Like she listens to the instructions to put in. But today you got us. We're here. This is us saying hello to you live. And anybody else who's watching, please do throw in who you are, where you're from, because we always like to know who we're talking to as well.
Exactamente.
So knowledge.
Knowledge is really, you know, and sometimes people think knowledge is about, you got to go to school, you got to do this, you got to do that. Now, we've got two sides of the coin. Is that how you say that? Is that the saying?
I think that goes,
you know, we've got our cognitive and we've got our experiential. So those components really make us who it is that we are, and in different ways. I know for my side, mine is experiential, brings me knowledge like I have never, I could never learn it from just reading books because it's just not who I am. What about for you?
I'm definitely more experiential too. Like I remember, but I'm story based. Like if I read a story or something like that, I can definitely bring it in that way. But if it's something like reading a textbook, I remember being in college and I was like, I'm going to highlight the important things. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to read this textbook and I will highlight everything that I think I need to know.
Every page is highlighted.
Everything was highlighted. And every single thing within it was also nothing that I retained because I would go back and look.
Highlighted everything.
Just highlighting. Like this sounds great. And then but I didn't actually bring it all in. But something that, like, if I'm reading a research study or something on horses, absolutely I can do that part of things. But the touch, the feel, the smell, like all of those things definitely add to my knowledge base. So place. I saw a post the other day that said, okay, I'm ready for my day. I've got my flip-flops, my winter boots, my parka, my tank top, my t-shirts, my sunglasses, my hat, my toque. And it's very true. So true. My car is like a closet right now.
There's knowledge in living in Alberta.
Yes.
So there we go. It all goes back to knowledge.
Oh, and Lisa's on this morning too. Good morning, Lisa.
Hey, honey.
So this knowledge piece too, I think it's kind of changed over the years because it started as experiential learning was like the first form of learning, right? Is learning by watching, by doing, and doing all those pieces. And then we went to the very much so like school learning and how to gain knowledge that way. And there became this idea that if you didn't have a degree or an education that way, then you weren't educated.
You were poo-poo, caca, poo-poo.
But I don't know, there's some life skills in there that I know highly degreed people, some of them don't have those pieces either, right? You meet some doctors, very, very educated. I had one that I was like, I need you to understand I'm a human and that you are speaking to a human. So that is some skills and some knowledge that you need as well. So there has to be that well-rounded piece, but it's not, knowledge doesn't just come from school. It's not something, no. And I think a lot of people kind of place judgments on other people based on their schooling knowledge, but there's lots of people out there who are phenomenal at what they do. And it wasn't from schooling. It was from a life skill or from doing something repeatedly and knowing how to do it right. Well, so there's lots of ways. You know,
it's just like being an entrepreneur. I mean, how many poo-poo, like you didn't go to school.
Poo-poo.
Like seriously, I know being an entrepreneur, how many people were like, what? You don't have a degree? I'm like, well, yeah, right. I don't, because first of all, I despise school. I despise the system in how to learn in school because it does not roll for a human like me. Why do I have to take arts if I'm going into business? Like whatever the case may be, I find it ludicrous. So give me my own way to get those beautiful rounded skills of owning my own business, being self-employed, learning from other entrepreneurs. And I mean, there's tons of people I know who did go to school, got certified, art certified, yes, could have got certified, degree, whatever it is that they are. And they're not even doing what it is that they were in because they didn't like it as much, Well,
I guess I'm kind of using it. I mean, my background was in PR, so there is an aspect that came over for sure.
Nothing exists from what you learned before.
But no, I was learning before the social media came, and then the social media obliterated most of the things that I learned. We both have a weird hair thing going on,
right?
I have this one here, and you have that one there.
The bangs. Anyhow,
knowledge. But with that. I was just going to say, I did all of my high school. I did my degree work. I did all those extra classes that I remember taking a theories course and we had to write an entire paper on a Band-Aid.
Oh, right. Like, I remember that.
How does this fit into what I will be doing in life?
Life.
I don't understand. But at the same token, gaining all that knowledge was fantastic. However, one piece of knowledge that I was supremely missing in my life was the knowledge of self. which is, I think, the first and foremost piece of knowledge that you need to be able to be that authentic person, to be able to know what you want to do or what's making you happy or doesn't, and that sort of thing. So even with school knowledge, there's still those life skills knowledge that if you don't learn things along the way, it's very hard to pick up after the fact. Thank God for horses.
No, yeah, it's so true. And I mean, it's no right or wrong way. I really think it's individual in what it is you feel, but I know there's lots of pressure. I know for lots of parents who you'll never make it in this life if you do not go to university or to college or get into a trade. And we understand those pieces because maybe from what they've come from, they feel that's the best route to go
and
as
if you
well.
want to be a doctor, that's true.
Well, yeah, you can't just, wish I'd be a doctor and you have all the
Heart
skills
surgery,
necessary.
I got this.
But I mean, for some of the other things, again, I know even for myself being an entrepreneur all my life, how many people said, you're never going to make it. Carrie, that is ridiculous. Who's going to come and work with a horse? Like, I know that was a huge one because remember, 15 years ago is when I started. Yeah. So of course, people were like, what the heck is even equine assisted learning? So
what's
really
equine?
But here's the thing that I know for sure, and it doesn't matter in what area that we're gaining this knowledge, is, motivation. And I just heard this one, and I really wish I remembered the name of who said this. Motivation is not what drives us forward. It's actually discipline. Because if we have discipline, that's what makes us successful, whether we be in, again, a degree career or an entrepreneurial career. It is discipline that sets us aside or sets us stand apart. That's the word, from everybody else. So this is why I love personally being that entrepreneur, because I have discipline every day in what needs and is required from me in order to make a living. And the same with people who want to get paid. You got to go in to the office or the hospital or whatever it is that you are doing so you get a paycheck. But there's discipline involved versus motivation, because we can all think that we're motivated to do something, but it's not the motivation that drives us. It's always the discipline to that knowledge and what it is that needs to be done.
I like that.
In order to move forward, right? Isn't it brilliant? But it wasn't my words, but now I'm going to use them all the time.
Yeah, we'll have to look up who that was.
Yeah.
That is a very profound thought with it too. It's just like you can have all of the hopes and dreams and plans in the world, but without action, right? Without the discipline, you don't have anything that comes from that too.
Absolutely.
I'd be curious to know what you guys are all, those of you who are watching, what's your way of building knowledge that has worked best for you? Is it that experiential piece? Are you that lifelong learner? Like I know lots of people, they could go to school for forever.
They love the school. They do. Masters, PhDs, they keep going and going and going.
Lifelong. And I love that statement too. Lifelong learners is what you hear from a lot of people, but we're all learning
every single day. We live and breathe.
Right.
We are learning something. It's kind of like, and I like this parallel. Whenever you're with a horse, you're teaching him something. Make sure it's something that you want him to retain. That's why it's so imperative that we work with a horse in their world, in their communication, in their body language, because we have to replicate that for them as well so that we hear and understand.
Lisa Heather, I love that. The school of hard knocks on my head.
Isn't that the truth?
We gain, hopefully we gain a lot of knowledge through our mistakes or through our trials that we go through and the hard times, because we should be gaining knowledge from that. I don't know. There are lots of people who don't, I think, and continue doing the same.
I did at least 3 times. Yeah. I need a solid 3 times of the knock on the head before I'm like, oh. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. I really like it the hard way. I feel it really sinks in. Yeah. But again, 3 times.
But I mean, learning the hard way is still like that's part of your story, right? If you didn't have all of the crap that you've gone through in life, you wouldn't be who you are today either. So I think that's a very valuable piece through that hard knocks, because we all been there too. Learn from people who have been there and done that. I love that too.
That's so true, Lisa. I do agree. That's why even in this certification, I love it, because you don't have to recreate the wheel. Like, why recreate something that the knowledge is already there to provide our facilitators? Move forward with it. So you don't have to keep trying to make up things that aren't even necessary, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the nice piece of having a little bit of a break for us who are self-employed when a business is already created and designed for us. However, we still have to have discipline, and that discipline always requires action. Because no matter what, you have to have those two components. But I do love that. And Napoleon Hill, I read Think and Grow Rich. I have to say there's so many stories of those hard knocks, those entrepreneurs, those people who are so close. Like, those are the things that I have retained since reading it. Those words, the stories, helps me to continually move forward every day.
Anita. Oh, hi, Anita.
Hey, Anita.
Learning the hard way is part of each individual's journey.
Exactamente.
So yeah. And even though we've all been through like some of the same events, like we've both been through a divorce before, we take different things from it, right? It is an individual journey of how we all gain knowledge through all that too. Lenore, hands-on through watching and then doing things. That's a big piece of it too. Like, some people can actually just watch somebody do something. I know. And then, but you think of like me showing you something on the phone, or you showing me something with the horses. Like, sometimes it's the watch first, and then, but the do, I think, is huge for us in learning.
I totally agree. And especially because she does it so fast. She gets very impatient in IT world, which I'm patient with her for being impatient with me on this subject.
This is true.
So anytime she's showing me something and she goes fast to me, so then I have to say, okay, give it to me now. And then we go for it, right?
Well, with the TikTok
Even with the TikTok yesterday, she says, okay, so now what do? I said, I don't know where to go to create it. She goes, yes, you do. And then I looked, and well, there by cracky was the create button that I pushed on.
And it's just even like me learning things with horses. I remember the first time you tried to teach me how to lunge. Carrie had a good time out there.
I loved it.
A very good time and lots of laughs. But you can't just watch just think here. Although I do have the knowledge now that I have zero control over how my body faces or works. I do not. And yesterday with my death, I just have no control over my body half the time.
She hit her funny elbow, I think 3 solid times, and literally solid. By the time she got to her third, I couldn't even ask her how she was. All I did was just pee my pants laughing, because I don't understand why you cannot see things anymore.
I don't know what I lacked the knowledge of depth perception yesterday. I don't know why. By repeating and using hands. I love reading, watching, then doing. Oh, that's cool too, because that's bringing those few different types in. Like, I think especially when you're learning something new, it's nice to be able to read directions. But then, like, even setting up this ring light that we have here, I had to read the directions first, recognize they made no sense to me, then find a YouTube video that I could watch what was happening, then do, because that was the only way that was going to work.
You know, that's like even our vocabulary, because I really find it so important. The more I grow older, but every day I grow older, I'm loving the vocab, because when I was younger, I was really intimidated by big words. And now when people throw out a word and it makes your whole body feel, ooh, I like that word. Yeah. You got to practice it. Like, I remember the first time I heard vociferous. I'm like, I love the word vociferous, but I had to continually use it in the right context. And now it just flies out of me. Or facetious. I love facetious instead of saying sarcastic. Like, it was just a different way to say, I don't know, different things. Now that I watch Rebel News all the time, they throw out all these words I heard before. And I'm like, how can I utilize those words? That's the knowledge, because it's fun to use some really cool words. I don't know. Words are huge now to me.
My favorite word I don't get to use very often.
No, onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Because
you love that one.
It's a literary technique, right? Like, it's not something you throw into.
How can you put it?
That's why I had to say it right now, because I don't get to say it very often. Onomatopoeia. It's my favorite word ever.
Onomatopoeia.
I love it when you start to find common threads of knowledge from many different sources. That is cool. And even when you think about when you get to be in a group with people who have the same common common knowledge, or we're trying to learn the same kind of thing. Like we were talking about that with conferences lately.
Yeah.
Because we've got our annual conference that we hold every year for our facilitators. And that's one of the best parts about it, is finding those people who have different knowledge on the same common thread that then you can share, and you're with like-minded people. And it's just such a beautiful way to build knowledge that way as well. And it's everybody finds a different way of doing things, right? So it's, yeah, I love that, Lisa. That's a beautiful one for sure.
It is, by cracky.
Yeah.
There was something I was going to say, but I forgot. You know, here's the thing with good old knowledge. It is a sad place where this brain actually lives now. I tap my head all the time because there's something that lives there, which is not just the brain. It's like a thought. But then the thought disappears so fast, even though I know through science and all of the research that they've done on brains, our brains carry everything. But I'm like, where's that little file folder in there? Like, why can't I pull it out and figure out what it is?
Cool to like have is like a folder, like you're saying, but like imagine how many thoughts we've lost and never came back,
right?
And we don't even know because we lost them so fast,
right?
But they still must
exist in that filing cabinet somewhere.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, I think digressing again.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knowledge. So one of the reasons that we actually decided to talk about this today is because it is one of our objectives that we work with in our building block. And when our clients come in, the first thing that they have to learn is the knowledge, right? And because if you're going to be working with horses and you have no idea about horses, you need the knowledge of how a horse works, how a horse speaks, what's safe, what isn't. And that is a huge part of even, you have to feel safe in order to gain more knowledge to learn, right?
Yes.
So we have to get people the basic knowledge of how they're going to work with these horses to be able to actually move forward into other programs. And, you know, when we first started kind of doing this, we always thought, oh, it's just knowledge, right? But the more we do this program with people, the more we find it has such profound impact on how people start to see themselves in gaining that self-knowledge, and how they start to realize that they do have some skills and knowledge within them already, and how they can utilize those pieces in their own lives or in their recovery or in taking one step forward. I can't believe, and I think both of our minds have been blown on this numerous times, how important knowledge is of everything in our lives, which isn't super profound. But I mean, when our guys come in, they pull out pieces of knowledge or something that they needed to know about themselves that we couldn't have even ever fathomed.
No.
And it's what's important to some person, one person is not going to be the important piece to another. So that knowledge base for everybody is completely different as well.
You know, it's so interesting even for the programs that we have in our certification. And I just always like to give the kudos and the credit to the lady who actually designed it all. And that is Tamara McKinnon. Her brain is so incredible in knowledge, because what she did was she took all the research that's been done on how does a human actually learn. And to this day, all of this is still taught in universities and colleges. Then she took how do wild horses, the research already done, communicate. Then she married the two components together to create these objectively driven programs. So just like Carolyn was saying, with all these programs that she did design, she did it so that you keep building every time you come to us. So ours is really designed on when we work with organizations, they come once a week to learn a new skill. And what does every human on earth need to learn? Skills.
Yeah.
They need to learn skills. This is why this business will always be so relevant in whatever is going on in the world, because we have to help humans to build life skills. Because when you have life skills, you become stronger, more confident, and of course that self-esteem really starts rising up. But even going through that, our first program always includes that knowledge. Then the next week that they would come, they use the knowledge, which is the skill, to come into the new program, which is building a relationship with self, with horse, with another team member. So now you've got knowledge and building relationship. Then the next week after that, then they come back. Now they got two skills that they carry into the third exercise that we're going to be doing. So it's a continuum It keeps building, so everything is strong, but we only work with one life skill at a time.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is that we're actually going to be bringing you guys through these as well as our lives progress. Our lives. I meant lives.
Oh, this live. Yeah, got it.
As our lives on Facebook progress too, so that we can keep bringing in how do we handle these skills in our lives as well. I have to read Lenore's here. Lenore, I hope you're okay. Well, you put it up, so it's fine. Yesterday, I took off my glasses to brush my teeth, so I didn't get my glasses dirty. I suddenly thought I smelled something terrible, like a skunk. I was baffled. Then came to this terrible taste. Oh my goodness, what was it that I had put on my toothbrush? I opened my drawer and 2 tubes of my glasses that looked very alike, both blue and white. OMG, it was Life Brand's hair removal. So the knowledge is keep your glasses on before using things. The more you do, the more you learn.
That is a good one. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love it.
So funny.
Isn't that the freaking truth?
And Lisa, I love your comment too. This is the only thing I've ever seen that works every time for everyone.
And it does. Brilliant. You were so right, Lisa. And that was so beautiful. You were like, you got the power in what these horses are doing each and every single time. And you got that each and every single time a human comes with that different stimulus, because every moment of our life brings us different stimulus, because we're thinking and feeling different, or we're confused, or we're on beautiful happiness page. You just don't know. But it is so brilliant that every given moment, these horses are helping us in some way or another. And that piece is so strong, because we lived in the moment, just like you did, that we're going to be able to pull from that knowledge and the experience that we had, because it always relates to our own life, to bring it into our own life. So that's huge knowledge in understanding those pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And even knowing what we're talking to an organization right now about doing a team building, is knowing what your vibe that day, what your behavior also has in a dynamic of people. Like there's something so cool about how a horse just personifies that right in front of you. So you're able to see that adjustment in behavior and how it affects the outcome. Because, well, I don't know about you, but for myself, that's been a huge piece of even that self-regulation piece of knowing, okay, this is not the moment to have this conversation, or this is the perfect time for me to go and do this, because I have that regulation piece. And I think a lot of our participants get that as well, because you get that instant feedback from the horses.
You know, we should talk about this, because that was so interesting, for the fact that we decided through the yucky period of what we're still all going through, we had decided that we're going to go smaller. We're not going to have as many certification courses. We're going to be very specific. We want to help women. We want to help men in our target market, but specifics to those men and women. But we also decided that team building, we're not going to market to any longer.
Happy to do them.
Like, absolutely. And I mean, those are, to me, always real money makers, because, you know, teams do have budgets to be able to come in and spend the money. Well, again, we have not been marketing whatsoever. We get a call, last week?
Yeah.
So how she got her number, but tell them what she said about what she heard about the program.
That she heard, what did I say?
About the horse, like
that the horse was going to be the one that people talk to people all the time, and that it was going to be the horse that will actually show people how they affect a team. And that was their biggest thing, is knowing, okay, so what does whatever you're bringing in affect how the entire team changes? And that's exactly what they wanted, is for people to be able to have that without a person telling them it. So they had actually heard it through somebody else in HR, and not us specifically, but that you can work with horses to do this. And she thought that was just like the most magical thing in the world, and that it would be perfect for exactly what they're trying to do. She said something else, but I can't remember now.
But it is perfect, because I don't know of any, and I tell you, in knowledge here, whether going to school, and I was a production accountant, just so you know, I did go to Mount Royal to get my certification. This is oil and gas. So I do understand the school thing. I just despise school.
That's just not enjoyable to you.
It just really isn't. But I do it because you have to learn certain things. Like, I still take a lot of certification courses, especially when it has to do with the horse, the brain, how a horse talks. And like, no matter what, I'm always learning from different people globally around the world, because we can do it so much easier now on that virtual system, because my goal on this earth is to always learn something more about the horse, like regularly, and then implement it so that I can see how this is rolling and moving along.
Oh,
and what was but there was something I was bringing it together with.
You've done the school, you did the production piece.
That's why the horse is so profound, because in all of my learning, even on earth, there's been nothing that solidifies the learning as fast as working with a horse. Like, you can do things and go and do your life, and maybe in a few weeks you're like, oh, that's what they meant. But when you're working with a horse, that's why these team events or youth programs, women's workshops, all of these things are so profound, because the guarantee and the promise is you actually learn in the moment. I don't know of anything else that's so profound and guaranteed in that way, because you do, as long as you're listening for what the horse is saying. You can't get involved with the people problems, because people will solve their own problems because they care and they are working with the horse. They actually love the horses that they work with,
they do.
You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what I was trying to say, is the horse is an amazing way to be able to retain that learning.
I love Michelle's comment too. These programs are amazing and help in so many ways. Keep praying to find a barn where I can have this take flight. Start knock on everybody's door.
Exactly. Now just take the action and make it all happen. Now, Michelle as well, I would get in touch with Carrie Drennan. Carrie Drennan is one of our phenomenal facilitators. I can't speak again, but she started from the very beginning. I think we've been with her 6 or 7 years now.
I think so,
she never had a facility, not ever once, and nor has she owned any facility. But what she has always done is she has found the mom and the pop places, facilities that are not being used anymore, and she's gone in and made them offers, and that's where she plants herself and her business. And then if something goes wrong and the contract runs out, she finds another exact same thing, and where she is now is absolutely mind-blowing. So it is
her. She'd be a good one actually to even like know what to look for in that kind of thing, and the connections you want to make. She's done lots of things beautifully, and then she's made a couple of mistakes that she gained the knowledge from along the way to apply to get to where she's getting to now. So yeah, absolutely.
I think this was a fun little knowledge day.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
It is. I really love that. Power within. That's why even knowledge and understanding our intention, and I think that's how we'll end it off. Intention is your key to everything that's possible in the power that you hold within yourself. Because if you can think, intention is movement. Our brains are electrified all the time. Like, they are moving, like the plugins and circuits are just going off. That is all that beautiful energy. We know that this is science. We know that this is true. We know energy exists. It's just in different forms, and in how fast and in how slow everything moves. But if you think about your intention of thought and feel being on the same page, then that is the key. If you have a contradiction or you're confused in any way, it doesn't work. You have to be thought and feel. Then that energy moves to our horse, moves to the universe, moves to God, moves to wherever it is that we're going. But that, to me, is what brings in that discipline in moving forward. But it is intention, because if we can move 1,500 pounds without even using a tool to do that, but the tool is ourselves, that shows us the power that we as humans, when we are on that same page, we can do anything in this life, but we have to continually go to this place, because as humans, my friends, we are in conflict with ourselves all the time, because we got this brain.
Yeah. You know what's funny with that too?
And it's a good brain.
It is. It's fantastic.
But it's a bad brain at times, because we overthink everything.
People think of like conflict between two people, right? Like, if we were in conflict all the time, is there any way we could make this business roll?
Heck no.
No. But then they don't apply that same concept to conflict within themselves.
That's right.
Right? And it's the same thing. We couldn't make it work. So how do you make it work if you're in your own conflict?
In your own body, in your own flesh and blood. Like, that's the key to life, is self first. And then we can move forward.
I like this from Jessica too. If you haven't read Sacred Spaces by Dr. Susan Fay, completely what you're talking about. Energy.
Energy and intentions.
Does it
I
tell
love
your mouth
that.
how to move with your brain?
And Fay. Well, anytime there's a Fay, I've got to check into it, because Fay name is very, very important. But I love that. Thank you, Jessica.
Yes. So we hope everybody got a little bit of something, a little bit of knowledge, if you will, out of today. And yeah, we're going to continue this on for the next 12 lives, I guess it'll be, or more.
Oh, because we're really taking you through all the objectives of each of the programs that we actually do with live human beings, but we're going to now incorporate it, and unfortunately without the horse, but that's okay.
Maybe we'll do a live in the arena one day. Maybe we should do that with a pony and pony in the background.
Maybe.
It's very comfortable in here, except it's hot right now.
Yeah, we're very hot.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
So have a great day, everybody. Keep on being that person who is the life changer for yourself, for others as well, because we truly all are. And of course, I was going to just throw this up because I didn't already. We're on TikTok.
Oh, the old tiki-talkie. That is a fun place to live.
It is.
And I think it brings a lot of knowledge in things that we are striving to move forward with, whether it be horses, whether it just be having some fun, whether it be being crazy and trying to do some of these dances. But I think the TikTok world is a beautiful place for us as humans in that knowledge, because it gives us different powers. And be with people and be in the tribes that you want to move forward with them. Don't be in things that are making you stay back or doubting yourself, because you're beautiful and you are precious and you are unique. That's the greatest thing about you. You're just you, and there ain't no one else like you. So that's why that power from within is so crucial. And try it on everyone. Your cats, your dogs, your kids, your horses. Like, practice the power that you have within, because you are so powerful as your unique self. It's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to Lenora and Kelly as well. It's good to see you guys on here, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, go watch us on TikTok, because
it's fun.
We're funny and weird there too. Have a great one, everyone.